is an audacity taken too far. That what is the population of Christians in Nigeria? That you want to use religion to reject Tinubu and threaten Tinubu that he won't be president. That is an audacity taken too far for Christians in Nigeria. That what is your population? That look at him. He has 2 wives and he has many children. And he's still going to he's going to marry another 2 wives. And he's going to get more children. That look around you. Look at some of these afars here, these clerics here. They might look tiny to you. But guess what? Some of them are married to 2, 3 wives and more children. So if you bring all those children out, how dare Christian threaten that they are not going to support Tinubu because he's bringing Muslim tickets? Then he also said that how many of you here remember Buhari and Idi Agbon? That they were Muslim tickets. Did they do well or not? And everybody there said they did well, which is not true. He is meant to be a cleric and a man of God. But the political conversation in Nigeria that APC, the division they have brought, and the insensitivity to the plurality of a religion and all that in Nigeria that made them to go ahead with that Muslim ticket has created a divide, a void that has further helped the further division of Nigeria that APC embarked on or upon 7 years ago. So that affair was saying that Buhari and Idi Agbon, they did well. No, they didn't. They destroyed Nigeria. Nigeria got blacklisted. Nigeria became indebted. Nigeria became bankrupted. People were queuing to buy sugar and common commodities simply because an illiterate mega, the first terrorist to overthrow a democratically elected government in Nigeria, struck, and the destiny and then the future of millions of Nigerians got stuck, which they haven't recovered from till today. And for the first time on record, Nigeria National Grid, with the population of that era, collapsed 4 times before his own friends who helped him to plan the coup decided to stop him before he finally broke up Nigeria. That was in 1984-85. So that affair was lying. But everybody there agreed that he probably was right. They did well. No, they didn't. That's why I'm so sad that Nigeria is a crime scene. Criminals are always rewarded in Nigeria because your leaders are criminals, past and present. Criminals who escaped justice, never convicted of the crimes they've committed. If they had been convicted, seriously, you will never be proud of many of them, including Buhari. He should be dead by now because of the crime he committed in 1984-85. Well, he got rewarded with something more. Look at him. That affair lied. But you know the most heartbreaking part, do you want to know, is the last 1 minute of that talk. He said, the Christians in Nigeria, they are the best. That is, if you take politics and then deceitful leadership, oppressive and enslavement and then slavery leadership, which every one of them is a victim, right? If you take that out, for the last 1 minute of that video, he was honest. He said, Christians in Nigeria are so good people that I'll give you an example. He said he mentioned an address somewhere in Ilorin where the Muslims were fundraising to church projects, mosque projects. People put resources together to help the community mosque. And they were doing that. And surprisingly, a Christian walked in and he said, I love what you are doing. See, I'm giving you 2 million naira for your projects. And where is the cleric of this mosque? And they said, oh, that same there is the one doing ablution there. He's about to go and pray. Oh, sorry, cleric. Alpha, I'm so sorry to interrupt your ablution. Oh, here is 100,000 naira for you for being the cleric of this mosque. I'm a Christian, but I love what you are doing. That is 2.1 million naira to support the cause of their own religious, development and all that. But when it comes to Nigeria, where ethnic, tribal, political, and other nonsense determines how people actually choose the criminals who lead them. Baba, and tribals, every other thing don't make any sense anymore. If they have to kill you to prove to you that they are superior in the name of Allah, in the name of Muhammad, in the name of anything that they don't even believe in, bunch of hypocrites, they will do it without thinking twice. And they will feel comfortable, relaxed, that they just killed some bunch of infidels. For somebody like that afar. And I can tell you this for free of charge. No be all Muslims are like that. Oh, sure, you get me now. Seriously. But you see, in Nigeria, with that fanaticism in your brain, that is what proves that you are a real Muslim. Everything else, you are just trying to be nice to the infidels who are non-Muslims. Do you understand? And like I told you, all politics, for those who are smart enough to know. So let's go back to what the Christian associations of Nigeria demanded from Kolu. Something they have a list. And what did Atiku say about that? Education. People giving birth to children they can't take care of. And turning them and making them the available tools for terrorists, recruitment, and the rest of that. A sort of a broken up Nigeria where everybody is handling their own affair will put an end completely to that. What they told Bukwari once again, what they told Tinubu again, the list.
That will address the crisis of development in Nigeria as follows, in point forms. 1, creation of state police or fully decentralized police authority. 2, clear and unambiguous religious neutrality of the Nigerian state. 3, enforcement of fundamental rights of all Christians, including economic and social rights. 4, restructuring to decentralize governance. 5, equitable and enforceable sharing of executive positions. 6, ethnic and religious representation in military and security agencies. 7, self-determination for all Nigerian people. 8, no to Ruga, yes to ranching. 9, education and free healthcare to all Nigerians, including the Almajiris. 10, no open grazing, rather modernization of animal husbandry. Finally, 11, local control of local economy, including waters, rivers, and forests. In conclusion, the Christian community in Nigeria is worried that Nigeria is lurching towards complete state failure. We are worried that disorientation in public leadership makes this a self-fulfilling prophecy. But we are reassured by the words of the scripture that whenever a people recognize...
Those are their demands. I'll show you what Atiku's responses on some of those stuffs were. And then just before we take calls, okay, we're going to take some few calls tonight. Somebody said, I know they hear Yoruba Nation now anymore. And then he put LOL. Now, when people tell you that on Mayegun's Diary Political, do not fall for it. Are you with me? Do not fall to the point where you become defensive. Do not. I'll tell you this. When Nigeria, under APC, Egbekegbe, decided to start killing the indigenous people for demanding for self-defense, defending themselves against the Fulani terrorists. The people who actually wishes that Nigeria will kill you for demanding for that self-defense. Sadly, whether you are for Biafra or you are for the independent and sovereign Yoruba nation, when you look inward in the last few years, those who wanted you killed for demanding for that autonomy, for demanding for that self-defense, after what you have seen, after the Nigerian security system unraveled, under APC, Egbekegbe, and thousands of people lost their lives in the hands of ragtag armed Fulani terrorists. The people who wanted you killed for speaking out or speaking up, they are mostly the Yorubas. They are mostly Igbos as well. Who feels like you are talking nonsense? In fact, whatever you are saying that people are experiencing down south is not true. Living in that denial over time. But people didn't stop because the APC, Egbekegbe, they are doing the best job in breaking up of Nigeria. Ours is to continue to remind people why it is inevitable, it is unavoidable. They are doing the best job. Now, when people turn around, whether they are Yoruba or Igbo, and they begin to say, how come you are not talking about Yoruba nation again? My friend, talk about Biafra. Oh, sorry. We know you. We know your type. There is no Yoruba nation. There is no Biafra. Do not fall for that bait. It's not because they care. These have been the same people who have been mocking and wishing you death simply because you identify what is killing them and you spoke out. Are you with me? Now, suddenly, they wish that when their charade starts, the majority of you who have confessed and stood by and even campaigned rigorously to educate these morons, the available lab experimental rats in Nigerian system, for those of you who have stood steadfast for those years, some of them, they wish you have taken side. You should take side now. Are you with me? Some of them wish that if you are not for PDP and you are not for APC, then you should be for Obi now, or be for Showore now. You should be for somebody now. Come on. Let us do that now. But because so many of you have continually to remind them that you don't really give a damn about what they do with their election, some don't believe that. Do you get that now? So this disappointment and the further education and enlightenment of why many of us made up our mind years ago that Nigeria cannot be helped. The reasons why we said Nigeria cannot be helped and the results or the consequences of those who kept this rigged system in place and the victims of that system, as they have proved that we are right. We're not changing our position, but it won't stop us reminding you that if you continue to pretend that you are not about to destroy yourselves as your parents have destroyed their own time and yours, when Nigeria finally explodes and you want to see those who actually have the truth, something they believe in, something so strong, something verifiable, something real, something Nigeria told you never to look at, an identity that Nigeria continues to take away from you, that has now created identity crisis for many of you today, that you can't even define who is a Nigerian, what makes you a Nigerian, what are the rights of a Nigerian, where do you go when those rights are trampled upon, what happened to those who treated you badly as a Nigerian in your own country? You have no answer. So when all of that explodes, when all your mirage, your slave camp, your concentration camp, when these criminals finally tear everything down, there's something they won't take away from you. The real you, the one you have been trying to mock and laugh us with, right? And that will be your real identity. If you are from Igbo land, you will be a Biafran. If you are from Yoruba land, you will belong to the Yoruba nation. You will have nothing left when Nigeria is done. How do we make you understand that it's going to happen? Look at their actions. Look at their lies. Look at you who continue to believe them like madman. who is actually doing the same thing again and again, then expecting a different result. You are irresponsible. Your leaders are irresponsible. You don't want to take any responsibility. Therefore, when the decision you make and all your mumu slavish decisions with your criminal leaders and one Nigeria, when the consequences come biting you, sadly, my brother, you don't even remember you made those decisions. You don't even remember that what is happening to you right now could actually be your own making when you are mocking those who are asking you that you are still alive. Oh, you better run. Oh, run. Oh. So you can't mock us. They can't mock you for believing in Yoruba nation. They can't mock you for believing in Biafra. Whenever they do, they're actually mocking themselves. Because when Nigeria bites them, ladies and gentlemen, they will remember who they are. Do not forget that. So when they tell you, why are you not talking about Yoruba nation now? It's not because they care. It's because they are checking. I mean, you see us now. We are renewing our slave certificate. Join us now. And if you don't join them, they will put you somewhere. Unfortunately, they have put me everywhere. They believe that I be APC supporter. I be PDP supporter. I be, what do they call it, OB supporter. I be this, I be that. And if that confusion helps in a way, that's why don't respond. Don't react. These are the lunatics that Nigeria have managed to breed over time. May Nigeria not happen to you. Amen? Amen? Good. What is Atiku's view apart from seaports? You've got Borono, you've got Alimajiri, you've got education and the rest of that. If you have the time, please listen to this.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Your Excellency. Just following on from there is, of course, you said what happened in Borno State and also in many states in Nigeria. Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children, particularly girl child. And it's worrisome. And of course, you know, they say that the future of an economy or a society depends on the kind of education that they have. So what would be your plans to reverse this trend in terms of out-of-school children? What targets can we be looking at? And when will that be done? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Yeah, again, I have to refer you back to the PDP policy 1999 to 2007. We came in, we set up the UBE, and we sent a legislation to the National Assembly. In the UBE law, we introduced education tax. Many Nigerians are paying education tax, you may not know. And we said every child is entitled to free education from primary up to secondary school. And we were sending this money to the states and local governments. When we send this money or these funds, the states and the local governments don't provide the education. I was invited by the Nigerian Senate to go and address them on this issue and said, okay, they asked me, okay, if you have the opportunity to come back, how will you make sure that the states or some of the states that don't implement that policy? I said, well, there is a monitoring department in the UBE. If we identify a state not utilizing the funds to provide education, we will intervene directly. I will ask for an amendment to intervene directly to provide that free education at all levels. I just came back from Jigawa, and I was driving from Jigawa up to Hadeja, maybe about 2.5 hours drive. And every village I passed, I will look at my ADC, I will look at my chief security officer. I said, did you see any school? He will say, no, we didn't see any school. I think we only cited 1 or 2 schools. It's a drive of about, and along the road, they are all villages. So we believe that the money we collect as education tax and we remit to the states and the local governments are not being utilized to provide that free education we insisted should be provided to every child of school age in the country. This is a very, very fundamental issue that I will make sure we implement if we have the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. The next question, because of time, is that, of course, you know what is going on in the electricity sector. For us, for the private sector to do well, there are big issues with our power sector. So I remember, of course, you remember also what you and General Obasanjo did in the power sector when you came in. Now we have the GENCOs, we have Transmission Company of Nigeria, and we have the DISCOs. We are told that the installed capacity is below 20,000 megawatts. But what we are getting, what is being weighed, is about less than 5,000. For private sector to do well and to contribute very well, they need power. What will you do in the power sector? And particularly, if you're going to invest more money into it, where would the money come from? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Well, you know, as a government, there are many avenues to get more money in terms of revenue. But coming specifically to the power sector, unfortunately, I disagreed with my boss during our tenure. I advocated for a diversified power generation system. My boss wanted a generation system based solely on gas. I said, we will get to that level, but for us to provide electricity supply, I invited PwC as then chairman of the BP. I said, PwC, go around this country, tell me how we could produce enough electricity before we leave office. PwC went around the whole of this country, gave me a report, how we could diversify generation in particular. And I submitted the report to the president. And the president said, no, I believe only in gas. I said, we are not yet there yet. We will get to gas, but we are not there yet. Now we need electricity before we leave office. And according to that PwC report, by 2005, we would have generated enough electricity for all parts of this country based on a diversified generation system without even improving the transmission. Because the moment, of course, you concentrate generation at a particular point and you are generating such a very, very powerful thing, you also have to upgrade your transmission system. So in other words, the PwC report divided Nigeria into zones and identified in each zone the source of generation for each zone, so that without spending too much money on transmission, you could generate enough electricity for a zone where there will be electricity everywhere. But we disagreed. And I withdrew from that, from the implementation of that program. And that program failed. So I still believe that before we go to our full gas potential, we may still have to look at the PwC report, or we may have to ask them and say, look, come in. Because by that their report, by 2005, we would have been self-sufficient in generation before we even left office. But unfortunately, we did not implement that report, and this is where we are today. Me, I believe in that report. I can get that report updated by PwC and see how we can implement to make sure that we get enough electricity in the short, medium term before we.
No, Atiku. We don't need any report. Just let us and join us in discussing how can we break up Nigeria. People can generate their own electricity themselves. Because in Nigeria, right, it's a system of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And if you listen to him very well, it simply means that he once had a very, very total control over Nigeria's system as the vice president to Obasanjo. And you could hear him He's speaking from experience of, it's like somebody who will be like, oh, I wish I did that. This is not somebody who was like, oh, my president didn't approve it. He had all it took, or all it takes at the time to actually get so many things done. So personally, it's feeling like, oh, I wish we did it that time. Hello, Atiku. The only thing that can give the people, indigenous people of Nigeria, electricity is to break up Nigeria and let everybody generate their own electricity as much as they want, wherever they want. Anyway, I have more to share with you from Atiku and then all that. But the bottom line is that for those who are really, really politically, updated, people who are so politically involved, talking about those who knows more about politics everywhere, conversation like that with Atiku, right? And even with any of them, because whether we support them or not, right? If they do their charade election, you're going to end up with any of them. And guess what? Whatever they do, will affect every one of us as well. Therefore, you can possibly study them and how they talk and possibly build more of your what's it they call that thing? Your info on there's a word for it. What I'm trying to say there is that to help you understand more why you are making the decision you are making, especially a decision like that of Mayeguns. Why I don't believe them. Politicians all talk, no action. But there's something they are saying, but it's not part of what they are saying to you. You can only study that when you listen to them, how they answer questions and what they say and all that, right? If everybody handle their own affair, a fake Nigeria where they use Peter to rob Peter to pay Paul, they generate electricity from here and there, they put them on a national grid, and they transmit them to places that are not really productive, that add nothing to the economic development of Nigeria using electricity and all that. It's just there because it's their entitlement. So when Atiku is talking about a committee that went around Nigeria, listen, don't waste your time. The best is, let's break this whole thing up. We will generate our own electricity. Gas flaring alone in Niger Delta can power the entire Niger Delta region, power the entire eastern part of Nigeria, 24/7 electricity, right? And at the same time, they will be selling electricity to some other places in Nigeria instead of putting the electricity on the national grid, where the federal government of Nigeria will now direct the electricity to where they wish and wherever they want, same way they decide how they distribute the wealth that they take from somewhere, they distribute them to where they wish or they want them to go to. And the result of that is the Nigeria you have today. So I wish I could continue with that for that sake, but I might try at some point. I want to take calls. I've missed listening to people. I've missed hearing your voices. I've missed you cracking me up when you are presenting your own side or your own view of what you see to what is going on in Nigeria. But I won't be taking calls before I show you this. I'll show you this first. So Peter Obi and the Obedient is a different thing entirely. They now kind of gather to listen to Peter Obi talk or speak. Can you believe that? Even in the middle of the night.
I'm sure of you. Because you got our debt person. 2017, 10 years after, we're only $50 billion to wipe what we used to owe. What did we use it for? Senator, I just said 64. We were only 30 when it was cancelled and we were celebrating. 10 years after, he has doubled. What was he used for? There's no hospital where can do it.
Oh, wahala today. When they say wahala wa, now this one they call wahala wa. Forget about this social media thing. No, even I say something they go on inside Nigeria that we must keep ourselves up to date. And the reason why the elite are scared as well. And we also might possibly be having what do you call it? A confirmation to the prophecy that as they are telling you to get PVC, who knows, maybe in a revolutionary ticket they are asking you to get, something is up. That people are now doing vigil, listening to Peter Obi speak to them or use his videos to, to entertain people, to educate people beyond social media. Here is another one I caught earlier.
I can get $6 million, $1 billion position. I say, I'm not owing any salary here. I'm not owing anybody. This one is Anambra State. Maybe I don't do my work. There are banks. This is a bank in Nigeria. There are not the banks overseas. That's what I call the managing director. I think the ones that give them the settlement. You got them inside. They are trying to say, this is the way to able to Anambra State. I didn't know slave. For company. This company, National Bureau, I invested in it. $13 million. I don't own any piece of land in Anambra. So for me, I've done my work in Anambra. When I came, we were number 26 in Waye. 26 to 7. That's it. I say my priority is to develop Anambra along the line where the government be. They get to where they measure development. I make that money. Development, they measure what they call Human Development Index. HDI. And it's a very simple thing. They call it statistical record of life expectancy, which is health. Education. And what they call the capital income, which is pulling people out of poverty. Don't get down to.
Somebody said, we're only number. Me, I'm going to be the referee. When waiting that they cook for Nigeria. It will say they are cooking something for the elite in Nigeria. And it could be like, say, the elite, the political class, the ones that are chasing everybody away, killing everybody that is opposed to them, hunting down the self-determination groups and the rest, setting them up and gaslighting them. It be like, say, this Obi are the obedient, waiting then they cook, be like, politicians have been cooking for all of us for years. And everybody don't they chop them like that. The shege, you know, they chop the shege, the shakpa, the shege, everything. Our leaders are now from generation to generation, everybody they cry. But it can't be like say, waiting these people they cook that they want to serve the elite. The elite no go fit finish them. Remember when they said that when the poor have nothing to eat anymore, they will begin to eat the rich. And if you think that video was from Eastern Nigeria, then you probably have no idea what is still happening around you. My job is to let you know, even if you live in denial of it, so that you don't come, to let you know what is happening. So that even if you come back later and say, I'm so surprised. This one is right there inside Lagos.
About 5 minutes time we go open telephone line and people wait there for studio go check mark, but you have 5 minutes.
So the depends on the so what am I trying to say? We need to cut
wastages.
It's too much.
Wastages.
It's too much. Government is not a social center. Government is not a restaurant. Because people say, oh, Peter, they say, can we come and have a drink? No. I'm not running a bar. I'm running a government. I have school children who don't have water. So don't come here and tell me about drink. And I say to everybody,
sorry, let me interrupt you. Yes, I was in primary school then. Damian Daniel. He said yes. No, happiness, love. He said yes. I was in primary school then. He stopped children hawking during school hours. That landed me in school in police station.
I didn't. It's police that normally take people. Normally, what I do is that I go to their parents. What I do, yes, I stop them myself. I take them to their parents and I say the child can be in school. The most important thing you can do for a human being is education. The most important investment a nation can do for its people is education. The more educated the country is, the better their economy, the better their development. That's why we have bandits now, because it didn't take the
some of these bandits now foreigners, so now from foreign countries. Telephone line and people where they.
Now, the reason why I had to share that with you is that have you ever seen anything like that in Nigeria before? During election in Nigeria, have you ever seen where people have to gather and listen to 2-3 hours video? That somebody is playing video of a Peter Obi, that somebody is playing on YouTube, and they brought equipment and the rest. So very soon you start seeing pictures and videos that people are going to be doing the same thing. That Peter Obi doesn't have to go anywhere. They just want to use his words to reach other people from everywhere. Have you ever seen anything like that before? Is that not when you are? Is it not when you are watching your premiership viewing centers? Is that not when you see people gather and they pay? Abi? Okay. If you think, okay, the Lagos is a market, people are stopped, but they stopped listening to him, right? So if the revolution, what I see is bigger than your PVC, but I'm not wishing you bad though. For those who are, the reason why they are now attacking them or trying to gaslight them, be like say, don't they make sense to me now? Abi, how person go, something where you feel watch on your phone. They can't put TV for your streets. Not just during the day, even during the night. Then put TV for your streets. Can't they show you waiting to be talk? It doesn't matter when he said it. Just what he said. And people gathered. In the middle of the night, again, look at this.
I'm sure of me. Passenger, because if I got our death person, 2017, 10 years after, we're only $50 billion. To wipe what we used to owe. What did we use it for? Senator, I just said 64. We were only 30 when it was cancelled and we were celebrating. 10 years after, he has doubled. What was we use it for? There's no hospital where can do it.
Have you ever seen anything like that before? So, if you see the APC, Egbekegbe, running mad on social media, trying to gaslight them, I bet those are the things they are seeing themselves. If you see the PDP, people destroying people, gaslighting them, I bet that is what they are seeing. Omoyele Sowore said, the revolution that is going to deal with these rogues is not going to be televised. Now I'm beginning to believe him. The revolution that is going to sweep these people off completely is not going to be televised on Nigerian television. They are going to be streamed live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on social media platform, even if Nigeria shut down the internet. Now, you see what this is now, yeah? Shut down internet. People will download videos and they will show others what is going on all over Nigeria. Updates. They don't need to play from YouTube. They just need to download it and play the videos in different villages and communities. What is coming for this, what they have done to Nigeria and what is coming, should not just worry you. You are worried what is going to be the fate of Nigeria. The elite in Nigeria, if you are watching me right now, you should be worried too. How is this going to end? I don't see a precedent. I see multiple countries. And I stand to be corrected. I'll take one or two calls, save us some time. Make I just hear your voice. To everybody who is asking about what is the update on Yoruba Nation and all of you. Sorry, my caller, hang on there for me for 1 minute. Please, 1 minute. I have an information to share. To everybody who is asking, or if you are really interested in helping us to spread the advocacy, the education, the enlightenment about why Yorubas should please stop investing their time in trying to save Nigeria or trying to lead Nigeria because some criminals from Yoruba land want you to believe that it is your turn. If you want to be part of us, we have dedicated our time, our resources in educating the grassroots, the people themselves. Now, Princess, I know you are watching, okay? Now,